Hi, and welcome back to the art studio. I just want to go over the brief that I've set for you on the Vikings. It is probably my favorite ancient civilization. I think they were just incredibly brave people and amazing explorers and very intelligent. I've posted some videos for you to go and have a look at about the history of the Vikings, that they were a seafaring nation, places they went to like North America, Russia, all over Europe, the kind of histories of them as a sort of warlike or warfaring people who would also then, trade with other nations. So very widely traveled people, very much a seafaring nation. And there's also a couple of videos there that are about the boats. So how they made the boats, because I think the Viking boat is the symbol of Viking culture. So you can go and have a look. There's one from the History Channel, and there's another one that's a little bit more kind of emblematic. You can go and have a look at that one. The thing I love about Viking boats is those on the stem of the boat, how it comes up like this, and often they would have a mythical creature like a dragon or a mermaid or something, or some reference to their religious beliefs, their gods, etc. And and those boats were completely open. There was nowhere to go under and sleep or hide away from the storm. So if they were in storms, they were in storms. If they were in hot weather, they were in hot weather. And they would be out there for months at a time, just baking in the sun or soaking like ducks in the rain. And all that time, no navigation devices, nothing, just working with the stars, working with the sun, and figuring out where they were going. So really an ancient civilization to be greatly admired, really. So we're going to do an artwork that's a tribute to them. We're going to start off. I've sent you also some images in the brief, which you can have a look at. You can, especially this one that shows you how to draw the form of a Viking ship. So you might start just with your piece of paper, A4, A3, whatever you have available, in a horizontal format. You will maybe put yourself in a little, just an initial waterline, just quite faintly, to see where it's going to be. And then I would start with the shape of the boat. Okay, so let's start with the side here. So this is going to be my prow coming up, and my boat's going to disappear like that. There's my prow, and there's coming out of the prow of the boat another secondary line that continues on like this and makes a little C shape as it comes up, and goes into a slightly smaller curl on the other side at the stern of the boat, the back of the boat. Prow and stern, these are nautical terms, right? As we know also, we have starboard and port, which is starboard is left and port is right. You never say left or right on a boat, you always say starboard and port. And there we have our basic structure. Let me hold that up for you to have a look at. Okay. So that is the basic structure of the Viking boat. Further to this now, we are going to work with putting in the sails. And the diagram I've given you gives you quite nice detailed way, but it's quite simple. You put your mast in. So there's the mast coming across. And then off of the mast would be a set of sails that come down like this. And often we see the Viking ships represented with these red and white sails. I mean, that's also like sort of asterisks and obelix, stuff like that. So we've got the sails going on like that, and we'll have the stem of the mast sticking out the top. All right, and now I'm going to put a little bit of a dragon in here. So let's put his eyes in. Let's make his head built up a little bit. And I've sent you some awesome dragons as well that you can copy from or use as inspiration for your dragon's body. You can put some scales on. And this guy here, he needs a bit more of a mouth. He looks a bit more like some sort of a. And on this side also, you could also have another dragon or a smaller creature. Maybe this could be a fish here, some sort of strange eel kind of fish coming down. You could have a mermaid on the front there. You could have anything. And I'd also like you to think about how their boats were constructed. And there's a video there that gives some, sorry, that's just my dog barking, that gives some details of the, shush, of the boat as it's been created with nice little slats. So they used to layer up the slats like that. All right, and I think that At this point, I might even put a little Viking guy here. I'm going to have his horns there. So he's one of the Viking ship guys, and he's looking over the side there as they're going along. And you could have a couple of them if you want, but I'm just going to do one for now. All right, but what about a sea creature? Should we have some whales? I think we'll have a few porpoises coming out the, you know, they're a little bit more rounded porpoises, and they'll be doing a little diving expedition here. Okay, nice big tail. And they can be diving into the waves like that little porpoise coming out there. Maybe we can have a bit of a dragon, baby dragons coming underneath the water here. Let's go up and do like a bit of a squiggle like that. So that'll be the dragon's scaly back coming out. And there will be its head popping out here. Just popping out of the waves there. All right, so now I'm going to start to paint this. My strange little scene of the Viking age of exploration. Okay, so let's start with the blue sky. I think I'm going to start with a basic blue, although I want it to look like it's raining. So I'm just going to use the blue everywhere, and I'm working with some paint, but you can work with your oil pastels, with your color pencils, with whatever you have at hand. And I'm going to work with the blue to create what we call the underpainting of the painting. Okay, there we go. Coming in nicely. And we can use white, especially white oil pastels and so on, to outline from the outside, to create a bit of constructed depth, to create a bit of detail around the edges so that you know where something begins and ends. Okay, there we go. Nice. So that's our basic sky over there. You can see our ship is standing out better now. I might then move in now to do the boat a little bit. I'm going to use some browns, a dark brown and a light brown. And I'm just going to work quite, you see, do you notice that I don't work leaving like paint by numbers? I just kind of go over everything so that I can start to create my underpainting. There we go. And that boat now quickly starts to take shape as a Viking longboat. And they were called longboats, literally. Oh, I've got a little spill there. That's good for you to see. You can clean up your spill easily just from the outside. Yeah, and they were called longboats because they were literally long boats. They were long. They could carry quite a few men. They had very shallow drafts. I've got a bit of information. That means that the bottom of the boat was quite shallow, not very deep. So they were easy to take up rivers. So they could get to another land, come off the sea where you need a deeper, you know, where it's obviously a deep draft boat can carry on, and they could go straight off onto land. The boats were even light enough to carry. They often used to carry it, like the whole crew of the ship would carry the boat and take it over to another side, you know, over to another sea even, or, you know, to the other side of an island and so forth. All right, so there I've got some brown in for my ship. I'm going to go with some red and white sails, although I doubt very much that they had too much red going on, because to make red as a color, you know, in the Viking age was quite difficult. Red is a color they used to use something called madder, which was a kind of red root from a plant to make dyes in red. So not so easy, but let's not underestimate them. Maybe that they were good for it. Maybe it's not just a fictional part of the story. So I put some red sails in. Okay, I'm going to leave it white, but I am going to work with a little bit of white over to bring it out a bit. Don't worry if it smudges a bit, you can always come back and clean it up later. Okay, so now I've got my red and white sails coming on there. Just going to go over it a bit, work those red sails so they're a little bit more defined. Quite a bit of red paint on. And then this will be a lot easier or simpler if you're not working with paint. You won't have to deal with things that are wet at the same time. You just work in with your red and white media, pencil or pastels. Okay, let's paint in our little guy here. I'm going to just edge the boat a bit more. And let's put him in like a bit of a pinkish face. Pink, remember we use white. Red, you can have a little pinkishy color here, a little beigey pink. And then at the top of his head, I might work with black to represent something like iron. They were able to smelt iron. We know that the Vikings smelted in iron. They were part of the Iron Age and the Bronze Age, and I imagine also the Stone Age. Very ancient people. And we know, of course, that they were the Scandinavian people that we know today as places like Denmark and Sweden and so forth. And that at the time, those nations were very much all like little kingdoms, kind of warring with each other, which is very much the story of most of Europe. I'm putting a bit more detail into my ship, waiting for things to dry. Okay, let's get on with some sea. I need another blue. Let's go for some blue here. What's this color like? Yeah, that's a nice blue. And I'm going to start with the blue in the water around the sea monster and the porpoise. And that sea monster I'm doing there is very inspired by kind of old maps, the sort of sea monster that's just poking out of the water as he's going along. Those old maps, they used to say, there be dragons, you know, because they were very scared of what lay at the edges of the world, because no one really understood that the world was round. They all thought it was a big flat world. I suppose, how would they have known? You know, we got satellites and we have all sorts of technology that can tell us these things now, but in those days, people really didn't have that. They didn't have that advantage. You know, they had to just kind of assume a lot of things and listen to stories and folk tales and, you know, understand what people of their age did know about the world. So yeah, here we go. So I'm getting around my dragon now. See, I've got to leave him out there. I'm going to make him a little green just now, sort of sea green color. I leave a bit of white flecks on the water. Now, what about a bit of a storm? I think there should be a bit of a storm here. Like, it's cloudy. I think these Vikings are going to see some rain. So I'm going to bring a bit of black sort of clouds into the sky there on top of my ship. There's a black line coming there on the top, down. And I can go, if I'm working with oil pastels or white pastels, or I'm working with white paint, I can go and add a little bit of white paint into it here to have some sort of gray clouds coming up. Bring it a little closer so you can see the sort of effects of it coming through. Okay. All right, and maybe some sense of rain. I will bring a bit of that grayness as well into the water. Some sort of gray bits and pieces catching on the waves over the top of the boat, sort of misty, scary waters. Imagine weeks like that spent just drifting, sailing, paddling. When the wind stopped, they had no electric motors. They had to just get out their oars and start going. And it was a tough life, very tough. All right, now I just need to color in my fish. I'm going to make the porpoise sort of gray looking. I've seen a few porpoises and they all tend to be a little on this sort of grayish silver color. And that's also because they blend nicely into the water and aren't easily seen from the bottom. Often the bottom of that fish is white, so that if a predator is looking up from beneath, they just see a white bottom like the white sky. It's amazing nature, how clever it really is. Okay, and then let's get that green dragon in. He needs a bit of like a kind of sea green color. And we can make him as ornate as we like. He's going to have a bit of a red tail, red fins on him. And I mean, the Vikings believed in all sorts of strange mythological creatures. There were no holes barred there. They did not have the view of the world that we do today. They believed that the sea was occupied by all manner of things. So there is my nice sea dragon, and I might come around and just, you know, add a little bit of detail around the waves around him. And also some detailed waves going over the porpoise. Okay, so I think we're almost there. I mean, you can obviously go on and on and on with your painting and get as much detail in as you like. I'm going to put some lighter boards in, using a bit of white or using a bit of a lighter yellow pencil, or whatever. You can put a few light details into your boards. bit more blue into the water if you think it's gone a bit dull. A few little waves, flecks. You know, those sort of like dark waves make everything look a little realistic, like as if the waves are sort of splashing around it. And if you wanted to get really technical, you could have some oars coming out the side of the boat, because they would have had oars that stuck out like this. I'll just put a few in like that. And they'd have oar holes. So holes where the oars stuck. And even in storms, they would close the oar holes, because sometimes depending on how low the boat was going into the water for the swells, the oar holes could cause the boat to actually, you know, flood. They had lots of problems, lots of things to think about. So there's my oar holes. There's my boat, and there is my Viking scene. I really look forward to seeing your Viking scenes. I hope you will send your teachers some pictures, and that they will send them on to me so that I can see that you're making art nicely, even now during lockdown. Okay, and there we have a Viking longship or dragon ship at sea with porpoise and dragon. And that should take you pretty much 20 to 30 minutes. And enjoy. Cheers.